So it's holiday season and the time is upon us to enjoy. Obviously this year is a little bit different with COVID and everything like that. My recipes I'm bringing to you, I really hope that they can bring a bit of inspiration and just give you a few ideas that you can cook at home for your limited family which will be visiting. I'm going to do 3 really simple canapes, a lovely roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, a little bit of watercress to garnish, a beautiful poor man's caviar as well, roasted aubergine with garlic and rosemary and served on a lovely Marlborough toast, and also salmon blinis. I'm going to show you how to make these lovely bellinis from scratch. 3 really simple, spectacular canapes, perfect for the holiday season. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. The first thing to do is to make our bellinis. So we've got some plain flour here. I'm going to use about 2/3 this flour, put it into our sieve, and then I'm just going to gently sieve that through. I've got some milk here. I'm going to pop it into the microwave so it's slightly warm. We'll just let that warm up slightly. And I'm going to add in this yeast. The milk has gently been warmed and I'm going to pour this in with the flour and the yeast. Going to give this a little bit of a mix. And now I'm going to leave this in a warm place for a couple of hours to let the yeast do its thing and gently ferment. To make our Yorkshire puddings, I've got some plain flour here. I'm going to measure this out and I'm going to pop it into my mixing bowl here. I've got a couple of eggs, so I'm simply just going to break these in with the flour. Pinch of salt. And we're going to put the mixer down and incorporate the eggs and the flour. And I've got some milk and water mixed and I'm just adding this in with the flour and the eggs to create a really nice mixture. There we go, a really nice mixture. I'm going to just use my spatula just to get the last bit of the mixture out, and I'm going to pop this into the fridge just to let it rest. The next stage to our canape Yorkshire puddings, we've got this muffin tin here, and I've got some lard, and I'm just going to break this up into small bits, and I'm going to pop this into our tin and just add that in. Perfect, there we go. Put this into a hot oven. After a few minutes this has become really nice and hot, and I'm going to pour our Yorkshire mixture in and we're going to put it back into the oven, cook for about 8 to 10 minutes until they're really nice, golden and puffed up. I'm going to put this onto a cooling rack just so they don't become too soggy, so they're nice and crisp.
Hi, my name
the next one is the poor man's caviar. Cut them in half. And we're going to score them diagonally. A couple of cloves of garlic, we're going to just cut off the ends, peel them and then just dice them finely. I'm going to use my sharp knife to make incisions in this aubergine, and I'm going to stick the garlic and the rosemary in there. I'm actually using the blunt side of the knife just to gently push that garlic and rosemary in. We're going to repeat this with all of the halves of the aubergines. By the way, if you're enjoying my video, it would be amazing if you could hit that like button. It really helps promote my content on YouTube. And I'm also going to use a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper and a touch of olive oil just to put in the insides. I'm going to use a bit of kitchen foil, roll this up and then put it into a baking tray, roast this for about 50 minutes or so. This is what happens after a couple of hours with the yeast and flour. You can see it's really risen and bubbled up and fermented, really amazing stuff. I'm going to use the last third of the flour. I'm going to put that in and I'm going to separate an egg. Got an egg yolk here. The egg white will go into the mixer. Pinch of salt, and we're going to gently incorporate this and just mix this all together. And I'm going to add some milk as well. Mix the egg white so it forms some nice soft peaks.
My name is Steve, and I want to wish all my friends a very Merry Christmas. And now let's all join in and sing some of my favorite Christmas carols.
And then we're going to gently fold this in, keeping that lovely air in there. And this will make sure we get a nice fluffy light bellini. I'm now going to make the two sauces. The first one is the one to go with the beef and Yorkshire pudding. So I've got about a third of a shallot here. I'm going to cut this up and finely dice this. I'm going to put in a few tablespoons of crème fraiche, a bit of creamed horseradish, some nice Dijon mustard, and also the shallot, bit of salt, bit of pepper, and we're going to mix that up. I've just had a little taste. I'm going to add a little bit more pepper. We can mix this back up and I'm going to put this into the fridge. Second dip is a nice sour cream dip to go with the smoked salmon and bellinis. We've got our sour cream here. We've got our lemon zester. I'm grating that with a microplane. I should have actually used a smaller zester here. And add the lemon juice. Some salt, some pepper. There's one last ingredient, and that's some lovely dill, which is the perfect marriage with smoked salmon. There we go, that can go in the fridge as well. Now these wonderful bellinis. The best way I found in doing them is using a small spoon, just so we can get equal measurements. I've got a large pan here, a little bit of butter in the pan, and a sort of medium-high heat, and then just keep an eye on them. They do take a while because they did rise, and the general texture of these bellinis is quite airy and quite light, which is wonderful, but you just need to give it a little bit of time to make sure all of that egg and that flour and milk cooks well. Flip them, cook them for about 7-8 minutes, something like that. Put them on a nice warm plate and then repeat. I'm now on my last batch of bellinis and I'm going to cook my wonderful steak. This is a ribeye steak. I've generously seasoned this with rock salt, pepper, olive oil, really hot pan. This has got so much marbling and fat going through it, it's absolutely incredible. I'm going to add in some rosemary and a crushed garlic clove, and I'm also going to add some knobs of butter. And I'm just going to let this butter melt down, and I'm going to keep flipping it. And the butter will slowly become nice and golden brown. I'm just going to baste that butter over. Once this is cooked, I'm going to take the steak out onto a nice warm plate. The next stage is to do this poor man's caviar. I'm going to add in a little bit of spice, and this will be a bit of cumin. Open up these lovely aubergines. So we've got our roasted rosemary and garlic. I'm going to put this on our chopping board, just scoop out that mixture. And a sharp knife just to blend and chop all of this up. Now it's quite important to do this when it's warm because I can now add these ingredients. Some cumin, some lovely lemon juice, some salt, and some pepper. Also some parsley, or you could use coriander. And we're going to mix this up. A little bit of olive oil. To serve this, I'm going to put it on some Melba toast. To do this, I've just gently toasted some bread, take off the crusts, and then just run your knife down the middle. And then you can half it and half it again. Separate all of these out. Then pop these on a grill. Put it underneath a hot grill, and you can see the edges just curl up a little bit, which is really cool. To serve the poor man's caviar, literally just use your teaspoon, pop on this lovely aubergine mix onto the toast. Next one is a smoked salmon blinis. We've got our lovely bellinis here. We're going to add on our lovely dill sour cream mix, and then we're going to put some lovely smoked salmon on as well. The final one is our wonderful roast beef Yorkshires. We've got our beef, which has gently been rested. I'm going to slice this up. Also, we've got some lovely watercress. I'm going to slice my watercress up, pop a little bit in the Yorkshire, and then put our lovely beef on top. Lastly, we're going to use our lovely horseradish and mustard sauce to put over the top. These are 3 wonderful canapes, and this is how it looks.